live sports card breaks, and also how to win at your fantasy football league. Today, we're going to do part two of drafting a Yahoo football league. So I'm just going to join a random league here and get this started. Hopefully, we get a good draft pick. But no matter where we get selected to pick, I will show you how to draft a winning team based on the number of position that we draft order. So, random 10 player Yahoo league. While we're waiting, live drafts, you're taking a look at all the product we have in stock that we're going to be breaking this week for sports cards. Head over to eBay, look up Evil Hooded One, the same as my Yahoo League name here for all my fantasy sports. Against that, sorry about that. Again, that's Evil Hooded One on eBay. That will show you our upcoming breaks. We have one finishing here in about an hour or two. I think our next break after that is scheduled to be Thursday night. And so, oh boy, here's our draft order. 6. That's one of the worst spots because that's where the top tier running backs are gone and people start taking receivers. So you're looking at Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, or you're taking the third, fourth, or fifth running back. By the time it comes 5 picks back to you, you're then looking at the 10th, 15th running back. So it can get ugly in a hurry in this spot. So again, this is the first time I've actually drafted a league in the 6th spot. You're looking at the rankings. Looking right here, Dalvin Cook possibly, Justin Jefferson. Most people are going to consensus 1 and 2 are Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, interchangeable, of course. I don't know about Justin Jefferson and Cooper Kupp being 3 and 4. That's to me a little bit of a stretch because if you sort by number of points, Cooper Kupp had about as great of a season you're ever going to have, and that's still 40 or 50 points short of the top running back. And you're right in line with the 4th or 5th, 6th running back. So, that's just my take on it. Again, receivers are important, but not as good as a top tier running back. I'll tell you that. Nobody that's doesn't get at least 2 decent running backs is winning a fantasy league. So you guys can all draft how you want, play how you want, but if you actually want to win, the key to fantasy is still going through third down running backs, that stay on the field, carries, get some catches. Austin Eckler, obviously. All these statements are barring any type of injury. But, Najee Harris, Dalvin Cook catches passes, new coach over there, so the offense should be spread out again. McCaffrey obviously catches all kinds. They give him the ball everywhere. But that's the big strategy that I go with. I do fairly well in fantasy football. Year after year, I continue to finish well. I'm never going to have really a bad draft. The draft is not what's going to kill me. It would be if one of the 2 of those first or second round players get hurt. That's what's going to kill you. But follow my examples, kind of listen to my strategies, and I'll ultimately hopefully give you some pointers on how you can best draft your team and win your fantasy leagues. In the meantime, we got 5 minutes up there in the clock, so we've got sports cards are going to be breaking. We got a case of legacy football cards, 2022 legacy. We've got optic mega boxes. We got 6 of those. Got a select hobby box there as well. A couple cello packs, hanger packs, value packs, I guess they call them these days now, some of them. So value packs and hanger packs. A couple prestige blasters. But the auction that is finishing right now over on eBay, search for legacy draft, live break. And then there's couple boxes of legacy that will be going up. That break will be scheduled for tomorrow night, since the auction is going to finish late tonight. So we'll do the break tomorrow night, and then we also have optic scheduled for Thursday night break. We'll either run the optic back on Friday, or we'll put some of the prestige and select box up there and get those going as well. Drafted so many fantasy leagues, I don't really rank people. I tend to go with predicted points, projected points here. So according to the rankings this year, Josh Allen's supposed to be the best quarterback. Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray. This, in my opinion, is stat producers. They can help you win your fantasy league. In fact, I won one 2 years ago at Kyler Murray. But they're probably not going to be the guys that you would pick off the top of your head to lead you to the Super Bowl. Then, of course, you got the typical Justin Herbert. Let's go ahead and see about the 6th pick, because this isn't good. This guy can't have anything good to say right now. Poor Andy. I don't know. I hear he calls it the sweet spot. I'm telling you, if it's a sweet spot, you definitely have to make your pick right and correct. I'm kind of hoping for Dalvin Cook. That would be somebody I would trust, especially if they're going shopping Alexander Madison over there. So he won't have a premium backup like he's had in the past. So they'll be less likely to give him any breaks there, or as many as he's had in the past. So 2 minutes on the clock. Again, the Phoenix Breakers is a live YouTube channel. Today we're actually going out to Facebook and Twitter as well, streaming this. Forgot to put the chat on here. So again, Evil Hooded One is the name of the eBay account. That is the one that's going to be finishing here in about an hour and a half, give or take, most of the auctions. We're live breaking Legacy 2 boxes. That break will take place tomorrow night about this time. Listed again is also a random team break, 2 boxes of Legacy. Again, this is the first 2 boxes of a sealed case. So you got the case hits in there, or the 1 case hit. And then you have Dare to Tear still in there. Of course, there should be about 3 or so on average per case. But coming up later in the week, Thursday, we have 3 of the Optic Mega Boxes. More than likely, I'm going to run that right back again on Friday. And then probably come up with some kind of mixer box, maybe prestige and all of those value packs and hanger packs. See what else comes in the mail Monday or Tuesday, though. Okay, we're down to 21 seconds. Pretty sure that we'll just go with the flow as usual. Running backs first. Put this flex up here because I'm not taking a quarterback in the first round. You can guarantee that. So Asajay is Christian McCaffrey's 1, Jonathan Taylor 2, Eckler 3, Cooper Kupp 4, Justin Jefferson 5. I'll take Dalvin Cook 6. Let's see how the projections play out. Guys had like 3 weeks to think about this and the number 1 pick, and 5 minutes since he knew he was number 1 pick, and still coming up thinking 30 seconds on the clock. These should be like automatic. Your first party round, at least the first 6, 8, you should know what you're going to get. Okay, come on, dude. Pick McCaffrey. Get it over with. We all know you want to do it. Maybe. Jonathan Taylor. All right. Well, now, nope. Real shock there. McCaffrey, too. Yep. Eckler. Go with the flow. See if anybody's going to reach here out of the ordinary. That's kind of a tough pick. You know, Eckler's injury prone. That's for sure. But if he's on the field, he could put up some stats. I'll tell you that. Coming back here, 20 seconds. I suspect it's going to be Eckler. Derrick Henry, that's going to be a different look for him. Not quite sure what to expect out of Henry again. He's had monster years the last couple of years, and sooner or later, them running backs, especially the number of hits that he goes out there. Oh, Justin Jefferson third. So I think that's just a big reach for some of these people. They'll get a good draft review, but by the time it comes back, there's going to be a whole pile of running backs gone. Jamar Chase. So I'll go Dalvin Cook. In case you didn't know, I am a Vikings fan, so we'll go Dalvin Cook there. If possible, if IJ comes back and hits me on the way back, even Saquon Barkley, that would be one of those drafts where, okay, number 6 is not too bad because I'll have 2 top 8 running backs. Once you get past those 3 or 4 receivers, throw Stephon Diggs up there as well. But once you get past Chase and Kupp and Justin Jefferson and Stephon Diggs, then the next 10 or so are just by the name you like or the matchup or how healthy you expect them to be. If they have a good quarterback, if they play in a team that's going to have a good offense that throws the ball more than they run. See, it's always so hard to pick like Tennessee receivers. You know, everything went to obviously Derrick Henry, and any other passes that were thrown were all Brown. And it was hard to have that second receiver, even third receiver in some of those deeper fantasy leagues. All right, let's take a look at the order. Austin Eckler, not shocked. Derrick Henry, 9th. DeAndre Swift, he's going to have a huge year. I don't know about Swift over Joe Mixon, but I might have had the more established Joe Mixon. You know they have a pretty good offense. You know, they got 2 receivers going to be drafted in the top 12 or 15 receivers. So you definitely know they're going to score points. I'll read that chat here in just a second after I make my next pick. I don't really pay too much attention to all the first few rounds here other than the fact of what's available when it's my turn. Kamara. Let me get Kamara. Dalvin Cook, Kamara starting off. Yep, do it. I dare you guys. You can make my day here or tonight. Just go ahead and let me get Alvin Kamara. Backup plan after Kamara. Oh, there's no backup plan. We got it. Look at that draft. Alvin Kamara. Okay, we're going to need receiver now. So let's flip this over to receivers. Okay. How did I do in my 12-man draft? Redraft. Hurts, Taylor, Barkley, Courtland Sutton, Marquise. Yep, Andrews. Michael Thomas. I expect big things from him. That guy was a stud before he went down with injuries. Now, I like your draft. You know, if the big thing is if Philadelphia Eagles learned anything, they didn't have the beginning of the season they wanted to. And if you go back and watch the games, because one of my big fantasy, my $1,000 buy-in league, where it's a keeper league and more like a franchise owner league where you can rekeep players up to 3 years. I have Miles Sanders, and they continue to pass. A lot of Miles very, very few carries. I mean, he went one where he had 2 carries in the first half, and they were getting shut out. Jalen Hurts, and then Kenneth Gainwell was getting some more rushing attempts. But the Eagles are dependent on how well they use Miles Sanders. Get that running game established. That's going to open up. You got some star receivers. That's where Jalen Hurts can actually shine. You know, if you got to keep that middle linebacker focusing on Miles Sanders, that's definitely the key to the Eagles. I think if they keep going with what worked for them late in the year last year, that would be good. Obviously, Sutton, I don't think anybody realizes the outcome of what it's like to have a Hall of Fame quarterback coming over to Denver and throwing you the ball. Running back's definitely going to make huge strides too, because they got a better line over there in Denver. I'm not going to say they have better receivers because Lockett and DK are pretty tough, but they definitely have a better running back. And Russell can really go to his strengths. He wants to pass the ball. He's more of that West Coast stuff. If he's going to run it, which they will, but there's going to be a lot of short passing games, yards to the running backs as well. So that's what keeps Russell on his feet. So I like your pick. Obviously, Andrews, you can't go wrong there. But the key, I think, is really going to be Jalen Hurts and how the Eagles set up the run with Miles Sanders so Hurts can get some quality play there. But I do like it. Eagles fan. Okay, wouldn't count on Sanders at all. He has fallen out of favor. Yeah, still your best running back. I hear what you're saying. You have a team that really doesn't seem to respect his game, and then drafted another running back right after in Gainwell, and he's a little bit more flashy in the running game. Obviously, more of a slot type guy / running back as well. But I really think if the Eagles are going to do anything this year or contend in that East, I like Sanders doing something. All right, so let's pay attention back to, let's see, 5 more picks. Receivers. Who do I got? Debo. Oh, Mike Evans. I like that. Cortland of Guess. Michael Thomas. I can get a couple of your guys coming up here. Scary Terry's always been one of those guys. If he ever had a quarterback too, he'd be a huge pickup. All right, 2 more picks. Thinking, let's see. Kind of wanted. Javonte's going to have a huge year, honestly. I mean, from a fantasy perspective, a little bit different than maybe the outcome of what he's going to bring to the table for Denver. 10 to 15, I would rank him in running backs for fantasy, somewhere in that era. But yeah, he's going to have a great year. You know, I wouldn't say most improved because he still played pretty darn good last year, but things will come a lot easier for him when you just can't send the house after Russell. You know, he'll pick you apart with receivers and short passing game or precision passing game. And then so that's going to open up a lot more holes for Javonte. All right, what are we doing? I'm going to go with Cortland. Oh, shoot. Do I really do it? Nah, heck. I'll go with the Cheetah. All right, we got a few picks. Let's go back and see the tight end situation. Kittle's kind of my target. So there's 4 more there, so I'll let that slide. I will definitely come back and look at this flex again. If I can get that flex running back and be a good one, Zeke maybe, James Conner, one of those 2, I'd be cool with that. That's still quite a few picks to go. Typically, I'm playing about 30 fantasy leagues a year in that ballpark, various different platforms. And by far the most unanimous is here, the Yahoo, or however you guys pronounce it, Yahoo, or I've always been calling it Yahoo, but that's the biggest platform. Obviously, more people and more teams are here. You can end up getting some junk players, so the outcome is even better than you expect. But if you actually get into pre-set up drafts where the players are invited and you know that they're quality, instead of maybe some random person jumping in and drafting all Raiders because they're a Raider fan, then you can get some competitive leagues here. I happen to play a league where there's West Virginia steel plant, and like 90% of the players are from the steel plant. And it is one of those fantasy team owner situations where you bid on your players. You got a dollar amount that you bid on players. You rekeep them 1, 2, or 3 years. There is a rookie draft, injury rosters, 2 slots for injury. And it makes for a very, very competitive situation. Okay, let's see. What are we looking at here from a pick perspective? You got a couple quarterbacks that just got taken. Oh, Connor's gone. Cortland. Ooh, I could come back and get Cortland, who I was going to get before. Let's do that. So we'll start off Cheetah, Cortland Sutton, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara. I'm cool with that. Kittle's still back there. Pitts is still back there. It's tight ends. I'll probably go 2 more rounds. All right, Cortland Sutton it is. All right, guys, there we go. Tyreek, Cortland Sutton with a nice quarterback throwing to him and a fat contract to go with it. And then monster running backs, I'm telling you. Number 1 and number 2, as far as like those top 2 guys, I'm scoring the most points in RB1 and RB2 there. There's nobody that, maybe the guy that got McCaffrey or Jonathan Taylor probably could have got like a 10 or 15 ranked running back that might balance out the points. Typically, those first 2 picks, though, by the time they're coming back to 19, 20, 21, 22, they probably took the best receiver available at that time. I guess I could go looking through and flipping through all the rosters, but I really don't care to. This is really not to show what the other players are doing. This is to give you my personal opinion on how to draft a winning team. Basically, from any slot. I think the last video I did, I was in the 9th pick, projected to win hands down. Should have, I think it's 11-5 or something, the record, and hand me the title as long as my players don't get hurt. All right, Kyle Pitts gone, Mitchell gone. Let's get to this tight end real quick. Let's see, Kittle's 3. That's my guy. I'll actually highlight him so he's up on the board. Dalton Schultz. I hate the Cowboys, I'm telling you. I don't really like them, but they're going to double team CeeDee Lamb quite a bit, and Schultz should be wide open. They're 2 running backs between Zeke and Pollard will do enough running to Schultz should be running wide open one-on-one. Let's see. We'll just highlight those 2. We'll get off of that and go back to best running backs available. Man, here's a guy that I really think is going to have a monster year. I think the projection's a little low. But again, Travis Etienne is college teammates with Trevor. And there he goes. That's why. Too good to be true there. Yep. So went to the same college and like top 5 or something for touchdowns. The guy knows how to get in the end zone. They're going to use him. Yeah. Yep, I have him in that big dynasty league I'm talking about, and you wouldn't believe, because it's a year-round league, the trade offers that came in weekly for ETN, offering up draft picks for the next 2 seasons and a player and a draft pick. I mean, it's not just me, it's a lot of other people that I played with that I know are competitive in fantasy football. And if that's your number 2 running back, you're in good shape. Okay, I'll get to that last question there, Bobby, here in a minute. Let me kind of see where I'm at, because this is kind of a tough situation. I normally want to get a flex third running back. Not sold on David Montgomery. Never been a fan of his. I don't know about J.K. Dobbins coming back from the injury. Let's see. What's receivers? Any good receivers left that are absolutely got to have? Oh, Michael Thomas. Scary Terry. Jerry. Oh, I can't do Jerry Judy. That'd be too much on one team. Thomas we'll go with. Highlight them. Thielen should have a year because he's going to be single team the rest of his life as long as Justin Jefferson's over there. Another Waddle. I can't really have 2 receivers on the same team, so that kind of takes out 2 of those receivers for me there. Tight end. What's going on in that situation? I said I could make it 2 more rounds. I think we'll shoot for Kittle coming up next. So let's check this flex out. Yeah, but I'm not really liking this spot right here. I don't see anything that stands out to me that's absolutely going to make or break it. All right, we got a minute left. Kind of a tough spot. Let's reset these running backs again. And go Cam Akers. That's a contender. And receivers. I think I'm going to go Allen Robinson. That's 2 guys on the same bye week 7, but I think we'll do that. The whole goal is to a couple more picks on the way back and get Kittle. I think he's going to have a healthy year if he can just stay on the field. Okay, back to that trade. Najee T, I'm assuming T Higgins for Jamar, London, and Waller. That's, at least it's an even trade. I mean, it's not lopsided. It's going to be tough to see what Najee is going to do. We're 20 years of having Big Ben sit back there. So, what are we going to expect out of Pittsburgh? That's the biggest question. I think everybody on the list is quality. That's for sure. But I would be Jamar. I'd go with that. Jamar, London, and Waller. If it was for me, I'd stick with those 3 if you have them, or if you're trading for those, definitely do it. That would be my opinion. This is definitely reading more of the chat, not even really paying attention to what's going on and who's picked. But again, when you've drafted as many leagues as I have, you tend to know the players by heart, have them memorized. Definitely, I got a 20-man team, one of them, and you're playing third down receivers. You're definitely playing backup tight ends, because you don't have enough to cover bye weeks. There's nothing available. So when you play in a league like that, plus we play individual defensive players, two defensive linemen or defensive end, three middle linebackers, and then two safeties or corners. By far, if you ever get a chance to play that, play with middle linebackers because the stats that they put up with, 10, 15 tackles and maybe a sack and a forced fumble. And you're going to sit there and look at, Cooper Kupp with his 10 catches, 130 yards, and one or two touchdowns, and you got a linebacker that does that every week. So if you do get a chance, play leagues where you get individual defensive players and focus on middle linebackers. I'd like to see Waller have a huge season. You got a double team Devontae, so I don't know what the heck they're going to do over there in Raiders, but you got two receivers that now are a receiver and a tight end that will never see a double team. And we already know their quality from years before. So Waller's going to have, I hope, if he stays healthy, he's going to have one heck of a season. Ooh, I like that, Bobby. CMC, Najee, and Aaron Jones. The only thing I'm glad Aaron Jones is, you got two quality guys and Aaron Jones. He's going to be the 20s guys, between the 20s. If he breaks one for 20, 30, 40 yards, but they're going to give it to A.J. Dillon down there at the goal line. The battering ram's going to be coming in and taking some of the touchdowns away. Oh, I was talking too much and I missed my tight end Kittle. All right, so the heck with that. We'll wait a few more and we'll go after Dalton Schultz. So we need a running back. We got three receivers. Oh, wait, quarterbacks. I haven't even taken a look. Kyler, Russell. They're all about the same. So here's what I'm looking at. So Kyler's obviously 40 points, rounded give or take. But after there, from Stafford, there's really not that big of a difference between these next six quarterbacks. So we'll go back to focusing on best running back, and we don't want anybody that's got a bye week, 7 or 14, unless it's really somebody that stands out, which oh, Dillon on the bench. I just saw that. Yeah, all right. I'm going to Cam Akers. He's going to be on the bench for a while anyway, but we'll go with that. So 3 receivers, 3 running backs. I still like Miles Sanders, though. I know he's in the doghouse, but I'm going to highlight him. Josh Jacobs. Somebody's got to run the ball. As long as he's healthy and doesn't fumble, he's going to get yardage because tight ends and receivers are going to keep everybody from stacking that line. So all he has to do is just stay healthy. By week 6, so that works for me. Watch it go. There's my Dalton Schultz. My tight ends are going downhill. Yep, good luck, DK. I don't know who's going to get you the ball, but I don't think you're going to have that great a season anymore. But you got the contract, Trey Lance. Definitely guys out there better than Trey Lance. That could be one of those, that's my team kind of picks there because nobody in their right mind would take Trey Lance over. I think there's at least Stafford and Russell out there that will definitely put up fantasy points over Trey Lance. There's Russell. Yep, I knew it. Okay, here we go. Tight end or quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, Prescott, Stafford. Heck, Jameis Winston going to put up some stats too. I'm telling you, that guy's going to light it up. I wouldn't be shocked if the Saints don't go ahead and win the division. That's not a bad option there, Bobby. I like that. But Dylan on the bench, wow, battering ram, making sure nobody's scoring any touchdowns in your league. I'll probably do a video right after week 1 of waiver wire. Week 1 waiver, people panic. Guy doesn't perform well, even though the draft went well for them, and all of a sudden their team, they just didn't perform. There's a lot of tough matchups week 1 just for TV ratings to get the season kicked off. And let's say Aaron Rodgers coming into Minnesota. He's either going to have a really, really, really good game like he has before, or he's not going to have that great a game at all. And you might see one of those blaming the receiver type things and have a struggle. So that means Aaron Jones may not have a great game, and then people start to panic after week 1. So waiver wire tips for week 1's huge. Kyler, CMC, Aaron Jones, Jamar, Keenan, Waller. Ooh, yeah, I'd take that lineup. All right, let's see, Rodgers. I don't know if I want that, but any of these guys. I'm not going to take Carr. And Kirk Cousins. He's been a top 10 or 12 fantasy guy for like 5 years in a row. Gets no credit. Tight ends. I'll wait. I'll go after TJ or Knox. So let's go back to the receivers here, and I'll take the Michael Thomas. We'll do that. Yeah, back to Kyler Murray, CMC, Aaron Jones. Yeah, that's legit right there. Keenan Allen's hell of a player, and Sutton could be a top 10, but the only problem with his top 10 status is he's got another guy just as good on the other side of the field, Judy. So they're probably, as if you followed Russell in Seattle over the last years, DK and Lockett still put up stats, even though there's 2 of them. Same thing with Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. They're both going to put up 1,000 yards, so you're going to see Judy and Sutton, barring injury, 8 to 12 touchdowns apiece and over 1,000 yards, and probably in the ballpark of 180 plus catches for those 2. All right, 5 more picks. Oh, there goes my tight end. Knox is gone. So that's the only thing really lacking in this fantasy draft is I just keep prolonging a tight end, and every time I do, they just go further and further off the list. All right, TJ, put you on the list. I better get TJ. If he's there when I come up here in 4 more picks, I'll take TJ now. Thielen, quarterbacks. I've got 4 that I'll take, 5 if I have to. Kirk Cousins, I think, is a little low. They got a new coach, and he's an offensive guy that likes to pass more. So if he's a top 12 guy the last 4 years, and only 2 years he's had with Justin, barring injury again, Kirk Cousins, he's going to light it up. He can be a top 8 guy. May not win him any playoff games, may not lead him to a Super Bowl, but that falls in the same type of category as Kyler Murray. Kyler doesn't pass as well as Kirk Cousins does, but he has the running game like Lamar. So let's finish up here. A couple more picks. Ooh, Justin Tucker. No kickers. Too bad the default Yahoo League doesn't have bonuses for 60-yarders. because we're going to see a lot more. What the heck did I do here? Zach Ertz. TJ. All right, come on, guys. We're halfway through the draft. All right, TJ it is. Nope, I'm the only guy that doesn't have quarterback, and one guy's got two. So pretty much, I can get any of those quarterbacks. I don't. If you're going to take two, I get that, but take it in round 12, 13 or something like that when you're finding out the defense and kicker situation. So I got plenty of time here to just keep stacking up on receivers and running backs. Because maybe they'll take one or two of these quarterbacks, but I'll get any of the four I want or five. So back to the situation of receivers. Who do I like? Well, Mari Cooper's got skills. I don't know about the quarterback situation over there. Drake, I kind of like him. Bateman, ooh. Yep, I don't have any weak 10s. Yeah, Bateman's looking good. Feel free to chime in if you guys see anything on there that you like. Obviously, Tyler Lockett, man, I'm telling you, that poor guy. He probably had shed tears for weeks when Russell was gone. But you can definitely see, Devontae Smith is going to be huge for the Eagles' success, but in a fantasy situation, he's going to be barely picked. Oh, Bateman, are you kidding me? The pick before he was going to go. Wow. Look at this guy. All right, let's just straight running backs. Who do we like here? Week 6. Yep. Jacobs. All right, so Dalvin Cook and Kamara. And Cam Akers and Jacobs. That's about as good as it's going to get. And Cortland, Tyreek, Allen Robinson, Michael Thomas. More than likely, Cam Akers will move up into that flex for week 1. And Aaron Rodgers. That's right. I'll take Jameis Winston. I'll lead a fantasy team with Jameis Winston to the Super Bowl. As long as that guy don't get hurt, I don't care how many interceptions he throws. That just means he's going to pass the ball more to catch up. Got Michael Thomas over there. Chris Olave. Nobody even picks him. He's going to have a huge season. Basically, if you follow sports cards, the players that sell the best are definitely the ones you pick for fantasy as well. At least the top 10 receivers, top 10 running backs, top 10 quarterbacks. Bateman. Gonna have a year. I'm telling you. All the targets are gone. There's nobody left to throw to, so he's gonna have a season. And if Lamar gets hurt, guy coming in is almost like a Lamar type of replacement. So that's one of those situations where your backup plays similar style to your starter, and that doesn't affect things. Look at Amari Cooper. Nobody drafts him because he doesn't have anybody to throw him the ball. Hunter Renfro. Yeah, that's what happens when Devontae comes in. You're not going to have quite the season you had last year because you're not going to get the targets. But you should be running wide open. All you got to do is run your routes, and you should be wide open every play. All right, we got 4 and 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 4 and 4 receivers, running backs. I guess we should look at a quarterback eventually. Shows you how it's not as important in leagues. I think what were we looking at? 400, almost 400 points between the top guy, and I'm the only guy without a quarterback. So we'll have to make up some points, obviously, from whoever I pick here versus, but right off the bat, as soon as I see Etienne and Dalvin Cook, Dak, Ertz, CD, Deontay. Yep, you definitely know how to draft as well. I'm not sure I'm giving you guys any tips here. All you guys are ringers coming in. This is more for those high school kids that think they know everything, but obviously any help or insight that I might be able to give you guys from a draft is hopefully you pick up one or two things. Oh, let's see. Quarterback. Do I want to yet? Do I see anything that's going to stand out? No. Running backs real quick. No. Back to quarterback. How we doing? Stafford, Dak, Carr, Jameis. I'm going to do it for you guys. I'm going to take Jameis Winston. Taking him to the title. I'll post it up here after when the rankings come up. Should I trade CD for Thielen and Key? Yes. I would do that. Thielen's had good years. If you go back and look at what he's done the last couple of years, even with Justin Jefferson, Justin's clearly moved into a top 3 role with Cooper Kupp. You can throw Diggs in there as well, but and Chase. Those are your top 4 receivers. Devontae's taken a hit because of his quarterback situation. We'll have to see if he can maintain that. But probably Tuesday night after next Tuesday, not this coming Tuesday, but the following one after week 1 concludes, I'll give you waiver thoughts. And of course, obviously it depends on who's drafted in your league, but some of them may or may not pertain versus what's in general consensus. But the do not panic buttons yet, or injuries, of course, if there's any major injuries. And then the biggest thing is, Chris Olave. Who else is on here? Miles Sanders. These guys aren't going to get drafted today that could light it up. You may very well see Davis Mills throw up some fantasy points. They might not win more than 2 or 3, 4 games for Houston, but he might put up some stats. So those types of perspectives is what we'll take a look on. Did I ever get a tight end? I forgot. Oh, yeah, TJ. Did I ever get a quarter? We have Jameis, so we're just kicker, defense, and 3 bench guys. All right, who are my 3 bench guys? Flex. After this point, we're flexing it out. Chark, Devontae. Really, now it's just a matter of spreading out bye weeks. So we got a receiver on 14, 7, 9, and 11. So nobody's on bye weeks there. So we're good. We can pretty much draft whoever's best available or the person you like at this point. And I think Tony would have a great year, but one, dude can't stay healthy, and I don't trust their team and their quarterback. About the only guy I could take out of there is Saquon, which I did in my last video. I think I went Joe Mixon, Saquon in my first 2 picks, and again, came back and Yahoo said you're winning the league. Those usually aren't too wrong. I mean, obviously, if Saquon gets hurt or Joe Mixon gets hurt, that puts a wrinkle in anybody's draft, so it doesn't really matter. But yes, definitely subscribe to the channel. I appreciate that. If you guys do any sports collecting, share it out to everybody else. I do live breaks. I'm just starting into it. I've been in the hobby for sports cards on this store kind of part-time as I was still going through regular work. Sports card shop from the mid-'80s. All right, Denver D, Devontae Smith, Kirk, Cooper. There's nobody in Kamara, but that's Jameis. Thomas. No, I don't want to go week 14. Devontae Parker. Yeah, don't like that. Wow. Okay, this is what happens when you get to these bottom guys, because they're never going to play unless it's bye week. So we're just going to spin the wheel here, and Zach Ertz at 2 tight ends. All right, let's take a look at this kickers and defense. Kickers. Okay, so basically we'll draw that line right here, 136 points to 156. So 20 points separates like 8 guys. Not a big deal. And defenses, 18 points separates here to there. More than 8 guys. So really, it's just a matter of what team you kind of like at this guess. It's the rankings are based on here, TDs. That's what's going to make it. I personally go a sacks. Those are more guaranteed. If you got a good front defense that can get sacks, those are points that you guarantee for defenses. So Dallas, Baltimore, here, Rams, of course, or Chargers, Cincy. We'll highlight those teams for that. Kickers, I don't care. Prater, he kicks in a dome out here in Phoenix, so that's half the games in a dome. Rams are good weather. Seattle could be good weather. Really take any of these guys. Basically, any kicker that's available between here and gold. Don't care. Same thing with defenses. Team defenses. 10-player, Lazard, Bateman, Zeke, Lockett, battling for flex position. So do you think that's a good group to have for potential flex choices? Yeah, definitely. The only thing with Lockett is you really think he was like the ultimate best deep threat receiver in the game for like the last 3 or 4 years. Russell knew how to throw that ball up a lot higher in arc, and it used to drop right down into him. And Contested catches and deep threats. I think Lockett led the last 4 years in that category, are pretty darn close anyway. Receptions over like 40 or 50 yards. He's right there at the top of the game. That's not going to happen now. So that's the only real thing that the name on there. I like the player. Obviously, he's a quality guy, but from a fantasy perspective, that trade could have a big potential on his outcome this year. All right. Any favorites here? Dallas, Baltimore, New Orleans, Chargers, New England. Who's got the most sacks? Right here. Dallas it is. All right, kicker. Prater. Still going with him. So we'll take Prater on the way back. Depending on how my golf rounds go tomorrow and Monday, I might draft one more and record it Monday night. Possibly that. If it is, that'd be my final one for recording a draft. So if you guys are interested, check back Monday. Make sure you just subscribe and notifications. Hit that bell. And we'll start posting videos. Obviously, injury updates, draft or waiver wire pickups. I'll show you screenshots of my teams, where we're at and what we're doing, and how these are. I'll come back in the comments after Yahoo tells us how great your draft is or how bad it is. To be honest with you, this is probably one of the worst drafts I think I've had this year. I mean, they'll come back and say, oh, what a great late pickup in Jameis Winston. They'll come back and tell me that I took Sutton too early. They'll say I have one of the top tier running back situations in the game. But, that's going to get me a B grade, maybe possibly a C plus, depending on how the rest of the teams do. What am I looking here? Kicker. Prater's still there. We'll do kicker here. Get it out of the way and take the 2 garbage pickups for the last couple rounds. Come on, dude. Make a pick. You already stole one player from me. If you get Prater now, I'm going to know you're legit. Mike's team up there. And after we get in there, we'll edit my teams, and they're all going to be called Evil Hooded One. We've been having that since way back, playing football when they were in the magazines. You got your stats from the USA Today on Monday morning, and then you got it again on Tuesday for the Monday night game. And those stats were golden unless there was some glaring misprint that multiple people could confirm. Otherwise, the stats were law back then. That's when you definitely went to your buddy's house and you drafted. Once it became online, it became a multi-billion-dollar industry for fantasy football overnight. Everybody was playing it. Yeah, the good old days of buying like Fantasy Football Magazine and going through and learning like the top 2 receivers and the top running back from every team and the top 20 quarterbacks. Going into the big draft board and feeling mad because you didn't know anything really. Everybody wanted the number 1 pick, but they realized that, winning out of the number 1 spot's a lot harder than people think, because that pick has a lot to do with it. Like CMC the last couple of years, he's killed fantasy drafts. 4, 5 games, 6 games one season. Next thing you know, out of those 4 players, which players are we talking about, Brett? Are we talking Lazard, Bateman, Zeke, Lockett? Is that the ones we're looking at there? Those 4 players, who do you think has the best? I have Bateman. Aaron Rodgers can throw at anybody. But now, here's my situation. I played Division One college football as well, so I do have some insight on what's going to happen in Green Bay. Lazard's now going to have to face the double team where he's put up stats, but they weren't impressive compared to other players. But now he's the double team guy. And so now all of a sudden, when you don't have your star there and he's over there catching balls from Carr and Vegas, now you get the double team, and that makes the number 2 guy. Is it going to be Christian Watson over there? We're not really sure exactly how that's going to play out. I guess my Vikings will find out week 1 what's going to happen there. So we'll be the guinea pigs. But Zeke, sooner or later, he's got a couple of years where he's going to have to just snap out of it and know that he may very well not be the best running back even on his team anymore. So Pollard's going to take some snaps. A lot of talk about Pollard actually taking snaps out of the slot just because they've lost a lot of their potential. So if I'm picking, I'm going to take Bateman for you. Just because Lamar's still got the legs, still got a tight end that's going to garner the middle, and all the receivers are gone. So Bateman's going to have all the targets, or as many targets as he needs to get. So he's got the best upside. Offensively, receivers going away from Dallas, that may send more guys closer to the line of scrimmage, more blitz packages, so Zeke may not have the running lanes he's used to having. Let's see. Who do I want? Do I even care at this point? Devontae Parker. Somebody's got to catch balls up there. Do I got a week 10? Any bye weeks 10? No. Yep, Parker it is. Just taking the best guys at this point. But yeah, Brent, if you're leaving me those 4, I'm going with Bateman. Zeke would be a second quarterback, better in Green Bay, obviously, than it is going to be in Seattle. I don't even care. I don't even know who's going to be quarterbacking because they're not going to make 4 games. Whoever starts, if Geno gets picked to start, I don't know that he'll make 4 games because he'll have 2 really, really good games like he's done in the past, and then he'll have like, oh my God, what the heck's he doing in the NFL game? And Seattle's going to want people's heads. They've had quality teams for a decade and should have had 2 Super Bowls out of it, and now they've only got 1, and now their teams from playoff contenders with Russell not getting hurt last year to draft pick lotteries. So they're going to make some quarterback changes up there. They're going to be just blitzing all day long if I was them. DK is a speed guy. He don't want that ball behind the line of scrimmage. He don't want no 2-yard slant routes. He wants 20, 30-yard routes and then catch passes. Are we in the last pick? Yep. Who we got? Robert Woods, DJ Chark. Looks like all the running backs got really taken. All right, out of respect, because I like him the best, Tyler Lockett. All right, and there's the end of the draft for me. So I appreciate anybody that watched it live. It'll be posted up here shortly on all the YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Streamed it live to all 3 of those tonight. I will definitely be back tomorrow night, and I will be doing a live break of 2 NFL Legacy boxes tomorrow night. If you want to tune in, that's 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific. And then next Thursday, we'll be doing Optic, so NFL Optic live break those cards as well. And then if we don't do any more NFL drafts, we will come back with the first week's recap of how the first week went, player injury updates, and waiver wire do's and don'ts. So thank you guys for all turning in. Like and subscribe to the channel and the videos, and appreciate it, guys. Those players: Daryl Henderson Jr., Devontae Parker, more of them. Who has the most valuable? Are they all on my waiver? Oh, Rondale Moore. I I like him. I think you're going to see Henderson Jr. kind of fade away a little bit more than kind of like other running backs do. If they don't come out and absolutely do something, kind of like Alexander Madison over there. Keep an eye on him. 12 teams are interested. I got the insight to the Vikings, and 12 teams came out last week and were interested in having him. This is the last of his rookie year. I personally feel that Madison is a top 10 to 12-ish, 13 running back in the league, but he's stuck behind another top 5 guy. So he's going to want his money. Obviously, he's gone after this season. He'll be free agent if the Vikings don't do something. So in my opinion, get something for him. Maybe wait and see the first couple games and see if Dalvin Cook's healthy. And then if not, see what you can get for Madison before that rookie contract is over and the trade deadline comes up. But D-Hop, what's he out? 6 games? Suspension? They don't even talk about him out here. All they talk about is Kyler Murray and his extra homework out here in Phoenix, man. And nobody in Phoenix likes the contract, let me tell you. The local media kills Kyler Murray because he's not going to win you a Super Bowl. He's just not. The only thing that helped him was Russell's out of his division, so one team's gone. So it's now a 3-team race for the rest of Murray's life. But, yep, appreciate it, guys. If there's anything, hit me up in the DMs if you want to have any insight. But I like, if you got a spot down there, Madison, if there's a guy that you don't really care about, one, he is no worse than top 15 running back in the league right now today, and he sits in the backup. The same situation is over there with Tony Pollard. If there's no running back on Tony Pollard for the Cowboys, he's a top 12, 15 guy too. So those 2 guys alone are the best running backs that are sitting there. And then pay attention to the news for Kamara. Doesn't look like he's getting suspended this season. And if it is, it's going to be late in the season, so it could affect the playoff runs for fantasy. But, yep, we're going to go ahead and end this here. And appreciate everybody tuning in live. It was a pleasure chatting with all you guys and talking about fantasy drafts, talking about players. And everybody, good luck on your season.